and welcome to Level Up Your Talents Abroad. I'm Guslandi here. I'm super happy to be with you today. In this interview, we're going to meet with Marin. She came to Switzerland with her job following her husband. But unfortunately, like many of us, during COVID, she lost her job. And we are going to learn through her story how she really tapped into her competencies and how this unemployment period really reveals all the potential that she has, how it serves her during her job interviews, but also really keep up with the positive mindset and then moving forward into this country one step at a time. So before we dive in, don't forget to register for our online live Q&A with all the participants. Also follow us on our LinkedIn page. Also, if you would like to come to this series for an interview, please email us. All the links are below. So now let's dive in. So today we welcome Marin. Hi, Marin.
Hi, Anne. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine. Busy, but fine, yes.
Okay, great. So we are extremely happy that you join us today for this interview. And so you're going to share with us your story. As usual, we are going to explore the behind the scene because too often we only see the end result and we miss the process of what it takes to get where you are today. Indeed, what does it really take to level up your talents abroad and build a stronger self is the question that we're going to address today. So to give you some context, Marin moved to Switzerland 8 years ago. So it was in 2015 with her partner. And since then, she found the dream job. She's a mother of two, and she's meeting her success today in Switzerland. But to get there, it does not always happen easily. So that's what Marin is going to share with us today. So first, why, Marin, did you choose to move to Switzerland?
So like you said, Anne, the adventure started in 2015. My partner and I, we were living in Paris at that time, and it was hence for a position in Switzerland. So of course, we had that dream or plan to move abroad at some point in our life and in our career. But honestly, we never thought about Switzerland. And once we got the job offer, we decided to take the leap as it felt really like a one-time opportunity for us. And we had been in Switzerland before that because we had friends who were living there. And we knew that it would be a completely different life than what we were experiencing in Paris. But so far, we are very happy to be here.
Oh, that's great. So how did you manage your professional, because it's not always easy. So you follow your partner, and sometimes you have expat women, they follow their husband, they have to leave their job behind, their career behind. So for you, how did your how did you manage your professional transition to Switzerland?
Yes. So the first year I was traveling back and forth. So basically, I was living in my suitcase for a year, traveling on the weekends between Lausanne and Paris. I was still working in Paris, and my husband-to-be was not yet my husband at that time, but was working and living in Lausanne. So for 1 year, I did that. And afterwards, I had the opportunity to get a position here in Switzerland, an opportunity that was offered by my employer at the time. So to work here on the Swiss market. And that's how I really moved to Switzerland.
Okay, so you basically had the same position in France. They transfer you to Switzerland for Swiss market, right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So I had the Swiss market, but also other European markets. And I was still, it was the same position, so a sales management position for the Swiss market.
Okay.
But then in 2019, as you know, I had my first baby. And then my contract ended. So it was the first time that I was unemployed, and that I had to look for a job on the Swiss market. So yeah, new experience.
Yeah. Can you tell us more about this situation? You were a new mom, COVID plus the job that is ending. So
Yes.
how did this global situation make you feel?
So at first I thought that I would find quite easily a new job because I was on the market for some time. I had a network, I knew the Swiss market, and of course I had the working permit. But it did not go as planned at all, because as you said, COVID hit in 2020. I was in several hiring process, so I was like super enthusiastic about everything, and then everything shut down. All the interviewers went radio silent, and the job market was down. So
what's going on in your head at that time?
exactly. So
I guess you were super exciting, and all of a sudden, like, it crashed.
all the doors went closed, literally. So first of all, I was grateful because it really gave me the opportunity to spend more time with my son. So that was really, I would say, a positive side. And of course, I had much more time than I would have expected for a long period, because it lasted for months, right? This situation. So I really tried to use this extra time to turn this tough situation into something positive. And that's how I got involved in several projects. Yeah.
Okay. So can you tell us a little bit more about what action did you take to actually keep moving forward, even though the job market?
Exactly. Yeah, that's the correct, exactly. Keep moving forward, keep your brain active also, not only with baby stuff, but also stay connected with job market. So I got involved in several projects and associations, and I also invested in myself by following courses to get certified in digital marketing. Some examples. So I started a project to open the first kindergarten or daycare in the forest in Lausanne city, and actually it's opening this week.
Awesome.
3 years after, yeah. I also animated the Neoma Alumni network here in Lausanne. So either by in-person meetings or afterwards, also online when it was during the COVID time. I worked as an independent consultant. So I had this opportunity for a public transportation company. I also started to build some kind of business to support small companies in their business and marketing plans to increase their sales. So I was quite busy actually for someone who was without a job.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it's really nice because very often when we are in a job search, it's not easy and we can feel really down sometimes. I mean, you have put in place so many projects where you engage, and that really brings a lot of positive influence into that weird environment when the COVID hit and the whole employment market was really not as usual. So about the confidence level, how was it during that period?
Well, when you are looking for a job, you are really lows and ups, I would say.
Yeah,
definitively. But the fact that I was always, engaged, involved in those projects, I really had enough purpose and energy to go through all the hiring interviews I could have had. So it really kept me busy and moving forward. And I think that was very important for me to keep that confidence level, definitively. And also through all those experiences, I was able to own my own story and to own my narrative that I was to own the narrative I was telling during the interviews. And it really made a difference at the end. And to get that dream job that I have now, in a sense that, I felt much more purpose because I had story to tell during the interviews and just saying, yeah, I'm looking for a job. No, I'm looking for a job, but I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And I'm trying to have that kind of impact on the communities. So it was super helpful.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting strategy that you put in place naturally,
Yeah.
but it's a good tip for someone who is experiencing the same situation. If we can just say one word about how is it to look for a job in Switzerland, if you have any advice.
People tend to underestimate how hard it is to find a job on the Swiss markets, because I think that we still have this perception that it's easy. And I think it was easy at some point, like 10, 15 years ago, and even before that. But it's not like that anymore. And what I witnessed is that either the expats that are here got hired through the headhunter, or they followed their spouse and they got the working permit, allowing them to find a job on the market. So that's definitively the cornerstone to find a job here, and it will open the doors of the Swiss job market. If you don't have the working permit, it's going to be long, difficult, and a bit painful. And that's really my honest truth.
Okay, thank you for sharing. It's good to know that, because for the people who are planning to come like that, it's not that easy. So there is one question that I would like to ask you, because so you are working 100%. You're also a mom, and now a mom of 2. And I would like to ask you, so how do you manage school, daycare, and your job in Switzerland?
Oh, I think it's it's a team effort with my husband, definitively. Yeah, it's a team effort. Like, we all have our career, we work together 100%, and we want to spend as much time as possible with our kids. It's always about finding the right balance. To be honest, definitively now that we have the second one right now, it's much more challenging.
Yes.
But we're getting there, and we will get there at some point. But also, I think being in Switzerland, it's easier because, the pace of things is more relaxed, I would say. I'm not, rushing everywhere. I don't have to take the metro. And also, I work from home mainly, so that's definitively something that is helping.
About the multicultural aspect, I mean, so many people say that Switzerland is very international. And when we were preparing this interview, you shared with me that's something that you really enjoy. So in Switzerland, how does it look like at work or in your daily life? How does this multicultural environment is?
Yes, so at work, I think it's really mainly through my clients that I have the chance to work with, where I have the chance to work with people really from around the world. And that's the thing also about the job market here in Switzerland, just to circle back on that, because it's like highly competitive. So you really have people from all over the world coming working here. And at my clients, it's exactly that mirror. I have people from, I don't know, South Africa, Eastern Europe, everywhere. So that's what I really like, obviously. And outside of work, when you are expat, most of the time it's easier to connect with the Swiss people. With the international people, I would say. But sorry for the lapses, because actually with my husband, we have a lot of Swiss friends. So that's why. So yeah, I mean,
you're totally immersed.
Yes.
in this multicultural environment with the Swiss and the international people, like it's all blended, right?
Yes, exactly. And as a mom, also, it's really nice to have all this kind of cultural background, um, because you can really share your experiences and how it's going on in the other countries and what is happening for you here, and you don't have your family with you neither. So it's yeah, it's a really good support also. Yes.
Awesome. What language are you speaking most often?
French, English, obviously, and not German. But if you speak German, that's super interesting for the Swiss market, definitively. Yes.
Okay. So if there is one thing that stood out to you that you would like to share with us, perhaps a story that caught up your attention.
No, I would say that being here and having to find a job, I really had to, let's say, get out of my comfort zone. And it really opened new opportunities for me that for instance, the job that I have right now, I don't think I would have applied if I would have stayed in Paris. But here you have more opportunities to explore a new sector, exactly, new sector, or do something completely different, because the companies will look what's the talents that are already in the market, and they are willing to take someone who doesn't have all the competencies or not everything, because they are already here, they already have the knowledge of the Swiss market. And so that's how now I'm working in tech, while I was really having a background in FMCG and retail. So it's it's quite a gap between the two, but it's super interesting.
Yeah, I guess it's there is also another alumni that she was working in FMCG and she moved to an industry. So it's interesting to see how here in Switzerland you can move sector easily.
Yes,
So
exactly.
that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. In conclusion, if you look at your experience abroad as a whole, what would you have done differently?
Well, it's easy. I would have invested more in German lessons. Yes,
That's important.
because I speak a little bit, but not enough. And I think that it's, yeah, at some point, maybe I lost some opportunities, or maybe in the future I will lose opportunities because my German is not good enough. But honestly, there's also plenty of things to do here in Swiss Romand. So it's okay not to speak German.
Okay. What soft skills do you think you have developed over the years, and how do they play a role today in your decision as a mom, as a wife, as a manager?
The soft skill that I've developed the most here in Switzerland is connecting people. And I started with Neoma Alumni, actually, because it was not my strength really to go to networking events, but by starting organizing them, I felt more confident. And now I have this network, and I really like connecting people. When someone, for instance, has a business and needs some help, or is looking for a job and needs some help, then I can really try, oh, you should contact this person, or you should contact this person. And, so it's something I think that I have really developed and strengthened.
Last question. If your best friend is coming to Switzerland in 6 months, I ask that question to everyone. What would be your top 3 advice?
So the first one would be get your working permits. The second one would be prepared for your housing hunts, because it really can be a nightmare here. And the third one is if you have kids, or if you plan to have kids, save money for the childcare because it's bloody expensive.
Like many other things in Switzerland.
Especially this one.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Mari, for your time.
You're welcome. Yes.
And for sharing with us your insight about Switzerland. And to our listener, we hope that Mari's story was inspiring for you and that you find value in what she shared today. Don't forget to register to the live Q&A and follow us also on our LinkedIn page. Of course, if you want to come for an interview, we will be super happy to have you. You can just email us. All the links are in the description. So we see you in the next video. Bye-bye.